Hey guys, welcome to Market Mondays. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. We're coming up on our Memorial Day weekend, and hopefully you guys have some solid plans. We had a lot of crazy stuff that happened last week, a lot of ups and downs, but I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown of everything that happened and how rates are looking and what to look for next. Before I get right into it, I'm going to do a quick dad joke. Dad joke today is, what is the last part of you when you die? What's the last part of you to die? Your pupils, because they die late. Get it? Die late. Pew. Get it ready. All right, let's get right into it. All right, last week we had two inflation reports. We had a Fed meeting. We had all sorts of stuff last week that really caused a lot of ups and downs in the markets. So first thing we want to cover is the inflation reports. There's two inflation reports that came out last week, CPI and PPI. These are two different inflation reports that read roughly similar things, but not all the same. Luckily, those two reports showed that inflation improved, okay, over the yearly numbers, which is a really good thing. So that's why we saw a lot of ups and downs. We saw one day inflation reports were really good, which helped rates a little bit, and then the next day it didn't help rates because there was something else that came out. So there's a lot of ups and downs last week. That's what was tough. The other thing that helped mortgage rates was also that the number of continuing unemployment claims went up to about 1.881 million people who are still unable to find a job. Continuing claims, to give you guys the definition, is that these are people who have filed for their first set of unemployment already and are continuing to file for unemployment because they can't find a new job. And that's what's unfortunate in our US labor market, is that it's continuing to tick up every month as well. Now, as far as the numbers that are new claims, it's about flat, which means the same amount of people are filing for unemployment for the first time, which is really unfortunate. So that number is flat, continuing claims are going up, which means the amount of people are still having a hard time looking for a job or who are currently still on unemployment. So what that means is that there's a high likeliness of that the unemployment rate that we're going to get in about 2 weeks is going to go up. That's what we expect to see. So we'll see how that reports come out, which ultimately will impact mortgage rates down the line. Now, the other thing that is unfortunate that came out was that the U.S. credit rating was bumped down a little bit. So for the U.S. debt overall, we have a credit rating, right? Just like, for example, when your credit card balance goes up and it gets closer to your limit, your credit score is going to go down. Similar thing for nations. All nations have a credit rating system. It's a different rating system. So for this example, the US went from a AAA to a AA1, which means they got bumped down a rating because the amount of US debt that we're in. The amount of US debt that we're in is about $37 trillion. It's a lot of money. So that also caused mortgage rates to come down. So you can kind of see this chart here where it was coming down and it was here on Friday, and then it just bumped back up today. Now you can see all these kind of like these cyclic ups and downs that we're seeing. We don't know how it's going to go moving forward. This week there's not a whole lot of news except for the next inflation report, the last inflation report for the month of May. For the last Friday in May, we're going to get something called PCE. PCE is the one that the Fed is going to keep their sharpest eye on, because that's how they're determining if what they're going to do with the Fed rate as well as unemployment. Because of the inflation reports that came in so well, that came down, last week, we are expecting PCE to do the exact same thing, which means it will also improve mortgage rates as well. So maybe at the last Friday of the month, we see this really nice rally of inflation coming down, and then everything's all as well. So we're still hovering the mid sixes, which is kind of where we're at, but things could improve a lot better. Things were way worse at the beginning of the day today, but they actually improved a little bit today too. So we'll see how it all moves forward, but that's about all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys have a great week. Nuke out.